That cannot happen. It just cannot happen that I can work with young people for 5 years and then they don't remember my name.
Yes.
The number of things that made me realize, geez, you're getting good at this, or you've become good at this, you know? And I think a couple of things, probably the most important thing would be the consistent hard work that led me to becoming an expert in competition law. I find that Black professionals can't handle success. And I say that as a general statement. I accept that. I accept that it's not all of us.
Welcome back to yet another episode of Suits and Stories. Guys, I'm super excited to introduce to you guys today our guest that we have on our platform today. I always have the privilege of really being able to interview some of the most amazing people doing amazing work in the industries that they're in. And today we are going to be speaking to Lebohang Mabidikane. And wow. I think you guys are going to really be in to really hear such amazing story in terms of her career, in terms of the work that she's done. Lebohang's been a competition lawyer for quite some time. And in that time has had exposure to so many different industries, has really done some amazing work, not just in Africa, but outside of South Africa as well. So today we're going to be hearing from her, hearing her journey, hearing her story. Lebohang, welcome. Thank you so much for the time that you've put aside to be with us today.
Thank you very much, Putlale. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Fantastic. Lebohang, I always like to start these sessions really just getting a little bit of a sense of you, your story, your background, telling us a little bit about where you're from, how you chose the career that you have, and what has that career felt like for you? Has it been something that you thought it was going to be? Let's speak maybe a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Thank you, Putlale. So I'm from the east of Johannesburg, from the East Rand, a township called Davidton. Some may know it. It's in the Benoni area. So I grew up in Davidton, and I actually still stay in Benoni.
You were raised there and you are still there.
Oh, I love Benoni. So I still stay there at the moment. So I'm like the last, actually, youngest of 7 children.
Oh, interesting.
So I come from a very big family, and a family of lawyers. Among the 7 children, 4 of us are lawyers.
No, really?
Yes, that's true. So how I got here, let's see. Well, the short version, I became a teen mom. I was a mom by age 17. So because of that, I basically had my baby straight out of matric. And then I had to go and work because, my mother was like, there's lessons of accountability that have to be learned here.
Yes.
So raise your child, fend for your child. So university wasn't on the cards for me because of where I was. So I was a bank teller for about 6 years. And then I started having that itch, that I can do more with my life.
Yes.
Itch. And knowing, having seen my brothers who were lawyers, I knew that I could do more from a career perspective. And so I had a conversation with my big brother and I said to him, listen, I want to go back to school full time. My daughter was around 5 at the time. So she was 6 when I was in my first year, essentially. And I said to him, can you help me? I need support. I'd really like to do something better with my life. And he said yes, gave me 3 conditions, essentially. He said to me, 1, no more babies. You must be focused. 2, no marriage stories. I don't want to hear it. You need to get the degree and finish it.
Yes.
And 3, no mediocrity.
Yeah.
We're not going to be celebrating 60% passes. Yes. That's just not going to happen.
I love that.
Yeah. So, long story short, I then quit my job and I went to university full time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know at the time what you wanted to study?
So, yes and no, in the sense that being a mom as early as I became a mom forces you to look for practical solutions to issues. The biggest issue was me finding some form of professional stability, professional and financial stability and growth. Because remember, I was already working, but I felt stagnant and I wasn't earning enough. I felt like I wasn't growing, So I looked for what I believed at the time to be a lucrative career, which was staring me in the face because my brothers were lawyers.
Yes.
So it was like that natural progression because I had seen how the lawyers in my family lived at least. I thought to myself, okay,
this is sustainable. This is something I can go into. Yeah.
So it wasn't a choice based on passion necessarily. It was a practical choice. That I was great at it and that I'm great at it now is just a testament of something I didn't know at the time. Something that I was probably meant to be a lawyer, but at the time I can't say I knew that. For me, it was just a practical solution to the circumstances I found myself in. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I love about your story? I mean, you sitting here, you could have at the age of 17, 18 decided any basic kind of job is going to be okay. I've got a kid to look after. I'm a mom now. And you could have decided, well, this is it. This is going to be my life, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm sitting here with you. You're a director.
Yes.
In competition law. Your CV is too long for me to even try and mention here, right?
Yeah.
And just look at that jump from a mindset perspective, right?
Yeah.
The thinking of, I can do better than this. I've got more in me than just being a bank teller right now. And so many people suffer with the thing of, I'm a bank teller. It is what it is. This is my background. And, and they use their background as an excuse for why they are stuck where they are, right? But you had something in you that you said, I must do more than this.
Certainly.
Tell me a little bit more about what that was for you. Was it maybe you looking at your siblings and thinking, geez, I come from a family that is successful. I need to be more successful. Or is that a self kind of, is it an internal thing for you?
Very internal.
Yes.
I'll tell you this. And this is true for, the journey of teenage pregnancy. And it's a real issue in our country, right? And it's very close to my heart because I'm a lived experience of teenage pregnancy, right? So it's very emotional, very powerful for me.
Yes.
When you become a mom at that age and you were the smart kid, I was always a smart kid. So I became the stupid kid who fell pregnant. It was like, how in the world does a smart kid like you fall pregnant as a teen? It just doesn't make sense. People won't articulate it that way.
Yes.
But, there's undertones. Maybe you even think it of yourself, But in reality, I was a big disappointment. And I think I lived with that for a couple of years. But I'm a very practical person. So it didn't cripple me at the time. I saw it, I internalized it, but I thought this child needs a mom. I've got to raise her. So the fact that I'm a child too, is not an issue. I've got to do right by her. So for the first few years, I was busy just really pouring myself into my baby, And then when this thing came back again, it was about self-redemption. It was about saying, you know what? I'm not going to be a disappointment for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I also disappointed myself.
Yes.
So I'm not going to be a disappointment for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
The dust has settled. What have been the learnings? And it had very little to do with looking at what my siblings were doing, in all honesty. It had a lot to do with me. I thought to myself, I've always wanted to be someone great. For a moment, my light was dimmed. For a moment, that fire was just extinguished. But I think now that my baby is a toddler and she's walking and she's the cutest thing, I'm reminded that I want her one day to look at me and be like, oh my goodness, I've got a boss of a mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that for me, that was the propeller.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's beautiful that you used that to remind you of, when you become a mom, there's that instinctual thing that says, I want to firstly provide as much as I can for my kid, but I also want them looking at me and saying, okay, there's the standard there. Yeah. Look at how my mom has done A, B, C, D, you know? And I love that, Lebo. I think looking at your career and how you've decided to go into law, eventually having specialized in competition law.
Yeah.
How did you go about making that particular choice? And what was that journey like for you in terms of specializing? Because I think a lot of people, especially young people that are studying LLBs and that are in that space, struggle deciding what it is that they want to specialize in, because they almost feel like it's you locked in. Like once you specialize, that's it.
Yes.
Take us through your journey in terms of becoming a director within competition law. Was it a simple thing, or did you was it by default that you stumbled into it?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, because it's also rooted in my teen pregnancy background.
Okay.
And I'll tell you exactly what I mean by that. And I probably sound like I'm digressing, but I promise I'm not. So people are shocked every time I tell them I was a SASSA beneficiary.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have a SASSA grant. In those days, the grant for kids was 145 Rand.
A month.
And every month, remember, I'm in university full time.
Yes.
My family is paying for fees and food and transport. That's it.
Yes.
No budget for clothes and fun and all these things.
Yes.
Helping with the child where they can.
Yes.
So I've had to make money in different ways, including selling sweets at campus, selling snacks, whatever it was, right? But the SASSA grant is important because it speaks to what the socioeconomic environment in South Africa was at the time and what it continues to be now. The fact that with 145 Rand from the government,
sure,
I could, for once in a month, my child and I had a special weekend where I would take her to the movies, where I would buy her something special, So that, Botlali, speaks to you about how one can use the law to impact, the social environment.
Yeah.
So that's how it came to me from a competition perspective. It wasn't as neat a journey as I make it sound now. I think it was a God-planned type of journey, God-ordained journey, because the reason I ended up doing competition law as a junior was because I really didn't have a good time doing articles. I actually didn't think I'd ever practice again. Articles was tough. It was overwhelming. It was exhausting. I was burnt out. I felt my self-esteem was crushed. I just felt stupid. And this is after I graduated at the top of my class, right? At university.
Okay.
So and articles can be tough.
Yes.
Especially in a big law firm.
Yes.
I remember towards the end of my second year of articles, my principals wanted to talk retention. And I said, no, thanks. I'm not doing this. Had no plan, and I sat at home for 9 months trying to figure out what to do with my life, because that's how much I hated practice at the time.
So hold on, you were offered an opportunity to be retained.
Yes.
You decided, no, thank you. That's not where I want to go. I'd rather sit at home for 9 months.
Yes. The first year of articles was that difficult for me. So much so that by the second year, despite my principal's efforts, I think the damage had already been done. And I found it very difficult to recover from it quickly enough, at least. And my perception of big law was basically formed by my first year of articles. There was no going back for me.
Yes.
So I said, no, thank you to retention. I'll make a plan. And I sat at home for 9 months. And then within that 9 months, I saw an opportunity come up from the Competition Commission, South Africa.
Yes.
They were looking for a junior analyst, and I applied.
Yes.
And lo and behold, I got the job. And that's when I learned. In fact, my second year of articles was in a competition practice, by the way, and it was a 1 year rotation. So I got to
had a full year.
Yes, I had a good idea. Yes. So I guess that was another appealing thing for the commission where I was concerned. And I joined the commission, and I always say mentorship. The lady I reported to was great.
Yes.
She actually listened.
Yes.
She taught. She shared. She passed on skill.
Yes.
I don't think she'll ever realize how much her mentorship meant to me, what it did for me, the turnaround, the shift. I remembered suddenly, I am intelligent, I'm smart, I'm capable.
Yes.
I can approach the law without feeling nervous. I can apply myself to quite complex principles, right? And guess what? These are bread and butter principles. These are principles around employment. Competition law speaks of the socioeconomic dynamics of this country, right? About how the competition law must be used in order to mitigate any negative impacts of transactions on employment, right? That speaks to the fact that if people are not employed, they're on SASSA grants again. So to me, straight to where I came from, straight to where I was like, I'm not working. What am I going to do with this child? What am I going to do to entertain her? What am I going to do to feed her? So for me, I that's when I knew that competition law is where I want to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because you could tie it back to your own personal experience.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Lebo, there's so many things I want to touch on in terms of what you've spoken about. So just going back to your mentor.
Yes.
When you joined the Competition Commission, what is the one piece of career wisdom that you still hold with you today that was passed on to you from your mentor? Whether it's an opportunity she gave you or whether it's, certain things she said to you, what was that one thing that unlocked your mindset around and reminded you that you are smart? Actually, I can do this thing. What was that one thing from a mentorship perspective?
She said it, Butlali. She said, Lebo, you can write. Lebo, you can write. I will never forget her saying that. The look on her face when she said
it.
Lebo, it's so easy to work with you, to train you, because you can write. And nobody had ever said that to me since I qualified post my degree. I had never received such affirmation, or if I did, because, I'd gotten the other end of the stick so much that maybe it didn't register. But for the first time, for some reason, I actually heard what she said. She said to me, you can write, you apply yourself, you are smart. Training you is easy. And it changed my world in the sense that I forgot about the negative feedback. I forgot about the you're not good enough feedback. And I held on to that. And I'm holding on to it to this day.
Till this day.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. The positive affirmations that someone can speak over your life sometimes is just that key to unlock you and remind you again,
yeah,
I've got what it takes. I am smart. I am easy to train, right?
It's the most incredible thing. I mean, when I say I've taken it all the way to today, I train young lawyers today, right? And they know, I mean, it's so nice. This is a public platform. They will say yay or nay, but I can tell you now, it's the truth.
Yes.
I always introduce myself to the person I'm training and tell them about myself, my background.
Yeah.
This is where I come from.
Yes.
These are the struggles I had. So I understand where you are.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And don't be afraid, because I'm going to do right by you as best as I can. But be assured, if you mess up, you're not going to hear the end of it for like a whole day, right? But I'll quickly move on after the whole day.
Yeah.
But if you do right, you're going to hear about it for the whole week.
Beautiful.
So that's got a lot to do with my personal experience, because I've come to understand that if you want to unlock greatness in a person, show them those blind spots of goodness that they have. Because I think our society, the way, I don't know what it is, but society teaches us to dim our lights. There's something about the notion of humility, so we're not encouraged to say, I'm smart. We're encouraged, that's arrogant. That's arrogant.
That's right.
So I've learned that, you've got to give people their flowers, even especially when they think they're messing up, especially when they're junior, especially when they think they know nothing. You've got to find something good. You've got to say, you know what? You don't know what competition law is now, but I like how, when I gave you this task, you thought about this. Or I like the way you thought about it. Yes, they don't know the subject matter yet, but there's something that you're telling them, there's something in you that I can work with. Yeah.
Hey, can we have more people like Lebo? Please, across all of the different industries, organizations, because, I resonate so much with what you are saying, because when I think back of how I started my career, there were two people that were pivotal in building the confidence that I have in myself today, because the one of them was just like, after 2 months of doing a short little stint internship, Nyana, was like, Bohlali, you've got it. You've got it. I see your potential. And I went back, did my honors. They still called me back after, said, you done with your honors, right? Come through. I'm going to give you a consultant position. Now I was starting my career at a consultant level. I had an administrator under me. I'm like, I haven't even worked as yet. But the fact that they trust me enough to put me here means I've got something, right? And then the next person after that, when I started working, I'll never forget Natalie. She was just, every time you could see she was looking at me to assess, I can see she's going a step further. Then she'd be like, Bohlali, come join us here. Bohlali, come sit in the senior managers meeting. Bohlali, here's an executive. I want you to go and talk to, and you're right. The society we live in today, sometimes managers that are above you, that have gone through the struggles you've gone through, continue to rather suppress you because, we all went through that, as opposed to take themselves out of the picture and say, here's a platform. I want you to grow. I want you to learn. I want you to be a better version of yourself.
So true. It's the most amazing thing. Finding yourself as a professional, as a human being first, I'd argue, right? Because the professional is a human being. We have context. Yeah. Right? So if I'm an insecure person, this is my humble view, right? If I'm insecure at home, I'm going to be insecure in the office.
That's right.
I don't see how you can switch on and off.
Yes.
Yes. If I'm unkind at home and I don't have empathy at home,
that's right,
I bring that straight into the office, So once you've done that internal work with yourself, I'm very introspective. I think deeply about things that people don't think deeply about. Yes. I'm actually a lot.
Yes.
I'm a deep thinker. I criticize myself a lot as well. I've had to learn over time to be kind to myself because I expect so much of myself. But it's not just about what am I projecting to the world, right? It's more like, what am I giving to the world? What am I doing? Have I come across young people in the office and then I left and then they forgot me? That cannot happen. It just cannot happen that I can work with young people for 5 years and then they don't remember my name. Yeah. They've got no testimony about me. Yeah. They've got nothing. That's just how I live my life. And I live my life like that at home, in church, in the community, in the office. The same Lebohang you experience in the office is the one you experience at home. So the difference is really whether we know why we're doing what we're doing. For me, I think, Bohlali, it sounds like a very tragic story, right? My background with my baby, having my baby young, being so broke and it sounds so tragic, but I thank God because without it, I would have never, ever, ever been the person that I am now. I would have never understood that there is a life out there waiting for my voice. I do a lot of work with teen moms. There's a life out there waiting for Lebohang, the director, to come and say, hey, don't feel sorry for yourself. I know it feels like it's the end of it. But look, today I'm a director at a big law firm. I specialize in a field that few women, few Black people, few people of color are in my field, right? You can do this.
Yeah.
But you can't speak about something that you haven't gone through with authority.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of experience, having gone through something, because that then turns around and becomes the fuel for why you're doing what you're doing. And I love what you say because, understanding your why, behind why, sometimes we choose careers because it sounds fancy. Being successful in your career has everything to do, for me and my experience, has everything to do with having an internal drive towards wanting to leave a legacy, wanting to be impactful, wanting to change lives, wanting to, like, it's greater than you,
Yes.
right? It's not about getting that title, getting to that senior position. It's great. You want to get there for yourself because you've worked hard for it. But behind that has to be something. There has to be like a fire behind it to, you know, to keep propelling you in terms of going.
Yeah, I in fact, I recently said that to someone that if your only goal is the next promotion, you're not gonna last in a legal career specifically.
Yes.
If you ask me, what has it taken for me to get where I am, right? I told you I started as a junior at the commission. I worked myself up. I became an executive there, you know, and I decided, you know what, I can actually do practice. Remember, it was a recovery period again.
Yes.
To say, well, I left practice thinking, oh, I'll never practice again.
Yes.
I felt a certain way. All it took was for me to actually do some rebuilding, internal rebuilding, and then some more learning, becoming a subject matter expert. Then I could move back to practice as a partner because I knew who I was. I knew I could do the work. I knew I had it in me, right? But the issue about the why, even as I'm a director at a big law firm, it's a question I ask myself every day. I never let myself forget the why. And the reason why we can't handle success, because I find that, and I'm going to say this, it's controversial,
yes,
but I'm going to say it. I find that Black professionals can't handle success. And I say that as a general statement. I accept that. I accept that it's not all of us. And I accept that there's people that do well and that do it right. But as a general standard, my experience has been that Black professionals can't handle success. Others may say it's not a race thing. It probably isn't. It's not a race thing. I agree. Because you have bad leaders who are across the racial lines.
Yes.
But I'd like to think that I'm speaking to the child of color, the Black child, the child I was, you know, because we have other dynamics that we deal with as people of color over and above the rest of the dynamics that everybody else deals with in corporate, right? You've got the fact that you're a female, which is like, you know, that's a dynamic, you know, so there's different layers. But my point is that the reason why we can't handle power, the reason why we can't handle success is because we don't have the why. We don't know why. It's the simple thing about success, leadership, power is the following. With great power, with great success comes double the responsibility, which demands double the empathy and sympathy and understanding. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're not asking yourself, what impact you have when you're treating a junior badly in the office, if you're not going home to reflect, if you've like lost it that day, it was a bad day, it was a pressurized day, you lost your temper. If when you get home, you're not asking yourself, Lebohang, why would you behave yourself in this way? You must just quit. You must stop. Because our job is not to break, right? Yeah. We are there to cultivate, to grow those that come after us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So powerful. So powerful. So many nuggets and lessons.
Yeah.
Not just for juniors. We're talking for those that are leading juniors, right? In different organizations, in different phases. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. Like the core of what Lebohang is really saying is, you know, if you don't spend the time to reflect on your impact, on how you lead, on how you mentor, cultivate people that are coming under you, it's such a lost opportunity, right?
Yes.
Because like what you were saying, you know, when you started your career in your first year defined whether you wanted to be in law or not. And it was because of probably poor leadership, poor mentorship, whatever it was, you know, in terms of the environment, the people that were giving you all the negative feedback. That could have changed the trajectory of your career. But you being you, decided, okay, we're giving this another chance. Like, let's get back into things. Yeah. Let me get into the competition commission. Let's see. And then you found someone that believed in you. But, you know, your thing, what you mentioned around people don't have a why.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why don't people have that? And I'm asking not because, I expect you to have the answer for it, but
Yes.
I ask myself this all the time, especially when I'm doing my workshops with young people. And I say to them, okay, you've studied, you want to get a job. Why do you want to get a job? Because I need money. Okay. Outside of money, why do you want to get a job?
Yeah.
What career are you thinking of building? And they all look at me stunned because no one's asked them before, what is the purpose? Why did you choose what you're doing? Why do you want to do it? What is the big why for you? People just don't have that from a junior stage all the way up to senior.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about us as professionals that we sit there and we just work for the sake of working? There's no purpose behind it.
I'll tell you from my personal experience, I'm going to sound like a broken record. Mentorship is invaluable. Butlali, one of my other mentors, a great woman, Tabiseng Dlamini, whom I worked for as I was coming up as well. She taught me about the why. So I didn't suddenly know there ought to be a why.
Okay.
She taught me about the why.
Right.
So if you had asked me before I met Ntabiseng, I wouldn't have known what in the world you're talking about. There I was working with this woman, a Black woman who ran a boutique law firm, commercial law firm in Sandton, right? In matters alongside the top 5 law firms. And I was watching her. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. Such boldness, such presence. Hey, she knew who she was. She didn't shiver. She was just, it was like, wow, okay. I thought, wow. How generous she was. She passed away in October last year, by the way. May her soul rest in peace. I mean, she knows this, even in death, she knows this, because every conversation I have like this one, when I talk about mentorship, I will never not talk about Ntabiseng Dlamini. Ntabiseng would tell me the strangest of things, but quite deliberately. She knew what she was doing. She would say things like, Lebohang, we have an obligation to transfer skill. I'd never heard that before. There's a difference, Butlali, between being a partner in a big law firm and having a new candidate attorney and training them because you need certain work done by somebody who's inexperienced, or doing it because, well, the firm expects you to. That's why the firm gives you a candidate attorney.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference between that and understanding that you've got the obligation to pass down a skill that someone else so generously shared with you. It's a big, big difference. The dynamic is completely different. Because when you understand your obligation, your moral obligation to teach, to uplift, then you will take training seriously. You're not going to be making your candidate attorneys make photocopies when you can be teaching them the law that you specialize in.
Yes.
So for me, that's where the why came from. A mentor said to me, there is a why, and this is the why. And of course, I thought very deeply about this obligation, this moral obligation. She was quite the activist in Tabiseng as well. That's why I said earlier, I referred specifically to Black professionals.
Yes.
It's not to make this conversation unrelatable to someone who's not Black.
Right.
But it's to share based on our lived experiences because we are Black.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's a different experience.
Yes.
I lived in a township, right? I'd never heard of a big law firm.
Yes.
Going to a township school and all of that. Those dreams are not even there. They're not even dreams to have.
Yes.
For kids in townships, right?
Yes.
What does it take? It takes us, those who are at big law firms, to mentor those kids, find a way to get back to where you come from. Go back to your erstwhile high school and say, by the way, we know lawyers, but criminal law. Have you heard of competition law? That is the why. And the reason people don't have a why, if you ask me, the main reason is either because of a complete lack of mentorship or poor mentorship. And when I talk about poor mentorship, that's another topic on its own. Because poor mentorship, it's a tragedy, right? Everything is so commercialized, I go to people that I'm purporting to mentor, and I tell them about big cars and big houses. Be a lawyer, you will drive this big car, you live this big house. That's not mentorship. You laugh and it hurts me to the core. But seriously, I've found that, and it's a sad thing for South Africa, because if you cast the net wide, we have a serious leadership problem in our country. It's a problem. We have a leadership vacuum. Yeah. And the problem, Buhlali, is that those of us who have made it, whether politicians, whether professionals, we made it for Instagram. Yeah, we are just all over Instagram, posting, showing people what we have that we know they don't have, and then we are just creating a toxic picture of success. In fact, an unrealistic one, because not all of us that are gonna have a yacht, is it? So just doesn't make sense to me. So anyway.
hey, the passion about mentorship. I love it. I love it, Lebohang. And I really hope that through this session, those people that are listening really spend the time to just introspect a bit.
Yeah.
Right? And ask themselves those critical questions of, how have I been showing up? How have I been leading? How have I been transferring skills? How have I been encouraging the generation that's coming after me and helping them navigate the things that I went through, right? I mean, a big part of why Get Corporate Ready exists is for that. I went through challenges as I went through my career. Luckily, because I was gifted with the opportunity to also see so many hundreds and thousands of graduates over the past 14 years come in, be in organizations, some leave, some make it, some don't. Having seen and experienced that has also been like, it's a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of poor mentorship, as you are saying as well. And it has nothing to do with the person's capability.
No.
I truly believe everyone within them has greatness. Like every single individual has something to give to the world, has something to leave in this world. And it takes unlocking some of those doors for people mentally, for them to realize, okay, who I am is a product of how I think about myself, of how I navigate myself through work, through my life. What is my brand? What's my personal brand? All those things are topics that need to be taught consistently, right?
Yeah.
So just pivoting a bit more from mentorship, Lebohang, I think thinking back on your career, and what do you think for you was the one defining moment? I mean, you spoke about your mentor, right? Being a defining moment for you. But what's been one defining moment that you believe best showcased your ability to lead and mentor, but also just showcased your technical mastery as well? Is there any one defining moment that's given you that?
There's been a couple, so I'm trying to think of. No, there really has been.
Yeah.
Because it's a journey. Life is not like an event, right? It's a journey. If I have to say it was that one defining moment, I think it would be, being appointed as the head of M&A at the commission. I think I was 35.
Sure.
I think I was 35. 34, 35. And basically that gave me a seat in the executive committee. Yeah. And so you'd say the defining moment, but I feel like the defining moment is preceded by defining events.
Yes.
I would even go to the extent of saying that the defining moment is an outcome. right?
Yes.
So the question for me really is, what did I do to
that led
find
to that.
myself
Yes.
in that position? And I would say that, and what are the things, the number of things that made me realize, geez, you know, you're getting good at this, or you've become good at this, you know? And I think a couple of things, probably the most important thing would be the consistent hard work that led me to becoming an expert in competition law, even before others realized I was.
Yes.
Again, that self-talk again, right? Understanding that, I mean, I was involved in some of the biggest deals involving listed companies, you know, and I was 30, I would have been 32, around 32 then, right? And I made sure that I showcased what I believed to be excellence, and it turned out it was excellence, right?
Yes.
So for me, the defining moment, yes, would have been, you know, this is you being appointed to this role. You are now an exec, right? But for me, that's the outcome. That's what everybody sees. I always say we obsess over outcomes.
Yes.
We don't obsess over the journey, the process.
Yeah.
And for me, that's where the meat is. That's where the passion is. Because I would voluntarily work until like 8 p.m. in the office. Voluntarily.
Yes.
In the office, 8 p.m., I'm still there.
Yes.
I'm married. I'm a mother.
Yes.
Right? Now, I know others will say, oh, but that speaks to a lack of balance and whatnot. No, I mean, I've heard it all, right? I feel like I've lived a long life already, although I've got much to live for still.
Yeah.
You know, by God's grace, honestly, you know. But I know the struggle around work-life balance. I know it. We don't have the whole day, Buhlali.
I mean,
that's a topic for a different day.
Too.
You know? So when I say these things, it's not because I've forgotten that debate or I'm insensitive to that debate.
Yes.
Guys, we need to be honest with ourselves, right? If you've decided that you are having babies in this season, don't fight the season, have your babies. And you must adjust your life to the season. Understand that in this season, I'm leaving the office at 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. I've made the necessary adjustments, you know? And don't worry about who thinks of that, who thinks what of that. Don't worry. I think we talk ourselves into failure and discomfort and just stress, you know? The reality is that, and as I get older, I realize, you know, people I don't care. They've got so much going on in their corners. They're just too stressed. So we talk ourselves into paralysis. You know, you're so miserable at your job because there's an expectation that you must work until 8 p.m., but you're raising a young family. Make your adjustments. Be your own leader in your life. It's your decision. Right? And there's nothing wrong with accepting that I can't have my cake and eat it right now.
Yeah.
I can't be leaving the office at 9 p.m. and still put my 2-year-old to bed right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong.
Yes.
Define success for yourself.
There we go.
You know, success, I could go on and on. Success, right? Is not a big car. It's not a big house. It's not a title. That's why I don't take myself that seriously, by the way. You know, I'm a director in a big firm. I'm proud of it, right? But I don't walk around wearing that on my shoulders because at the core, for success for me, is that I've got a beautiful family life. I've got a beautiful family life. I'm a great wife to a great husband. I'm a great mom to a great daughter. But I had long defined those things for myself long ago because I became a mom so young.
Yes.
So I already knew that there's something bigger than a career. For example, the fact that I've got a career just is almost like a bonus.
Yes.
Yes, for the other person who's done it the right way around, right? Not like my journey, who's looking for a career. They're doing it so that they can have that great family. But you need to have defining moments.
Yeah.
Don't wait until you're 40
Yes.
to have these conversations. Have them at
Yes.
25. Have them as you're doing articles. Are you
Yes.
going to run around like this for the next 10 years? Are you going to put off having a family? What are you going to do?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with pausing,
Yes.
having a family, coming back. I've done it and it has worked.
And it has worked,
Yeah.
Lebo. It has worked. You know, it's so true. Like, I love what you say about, define success for yourself.
Yeah.
And you say, if you've done it the right way, there isn't a right way. There's a socially right way, right?
Yes, yes.
But life happens and life is what it is, but it's what you make of it. Whatever situation you find yourself in is what you make of it. You may find yourself in the same situation as Lebo, but now whether you stay there and you use that as a crutch for why you're not going forward is your decision. Whether you decide, because I'm here, I need to push. I need to further myself. I need to study more. That's your decision once again, right?
Yeah.
And the seasons, I love that because you go through seasons. In the beginning of my career, 8 o'clock, 9 p.m., that's the time I was leaving. I could at the time. I didn't have a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't have a family. That's the time to push. Once I had family, my decisions changed.
Yeah.
I would not allow myself to leave at 9 p.m. because I've got other things that are priorities for me. And finding a balance in that is then how you start defining your success. So, hey, guys, listen, we could speak forever, Lelebo, right? There's so many different aspects that we could be asking her about, delving into her proudest moments where she felt like giving up. There's so many different aspects, right, to unpack in someone like Lebo. And we don't have the time for that today. But I know there's so much that you are hearing today from Lebo that you have taken back, right? There's nuggets that Lebo has dropped today that whether you're a young professional, whether you're a seasoned professional, there's things to learn from the journey, right? And there's things for us to be using to amplify who we are, thinking about the legacy that we leave, thinking about our impact as well, which has been just so powerful in our conversation today. Lebo, one of the things I always ask my guests is about, if there was one soundtrack that defines their legal career. Yeah. I love asking this because it's so interesting to see different people's perspective on their career through the song that they end up choosing, because it just shows you what moment or phase they're in their life. You've had quite a long career.
Yeah.
And do you know what I love about what you said before we get into the soundtrack? You are telling us at 32, 35, you're already appointed to these big positions, ne? Competition Commission. Guys, remember the story. After high school, there was still a 6-year period. Yeah. It's not like Lebo started straight after high school into varsity. Then from varsity started working. She had a 10-year to get to 32. No. This is after Lebo has started. After the 6 years, only now I'm starting to study. Only then I'm starting to decide my career. No, practice is not going to work for me. Let me do this. And then she's still appointed at the age of 32. When I ask yourself at the age of 32, where are you? With the beautiful start of straight out of high school, studied, where are you? The difference, guys, is the why. The difference is leading and driving a career out of purpose. Yeah. That is the difference. I say it all the time when I speak about personal branding. But anyway, going back to your soundtrack. Let's do your soundtrack. And then after the soundtrack, just any advice that you would give to the next generation of African legal professionals navigating the intersection between their career, their life, public interest, business. There's so many different aspects. Just anything you'd like to close with.
Okay. So soundtrack. So it's a current song.
Okay.
But it speaks to my entire life's theme.
Jenny, yeah.
Yeah. It's a song called Bengicela. It's a Zulu song.
Yes.
And there's a new genre. It's called 3-step, right?
Yes.
After amapiano. I love music.
I love that.
So it's called Bengicela. I think the main artist is DJ CK, I think.
Okay.
With Mahu.
Yes.
Jazz Works. There's a couple of artists.
Yes.
But basically it's a song where it literally translates, God, please hear my prayer.
Yeah.
I know there's many of us praying to you.
Yes.
But please hear my prayer. You know? That's a soundtrack for my entire career, not just life career.
Yes.
Because I believe that despite the hard work I've put in, a lot of my career has been a product of the grace of God. Without prayer, without God's grace, because there's a lot of intelligent people speak well, people work hard, but they're not getting those, those sweet spots in career, So I can never underestimate the power of God in all of this. Even in the learnings, the fact that God would soften one's heart to remember where I come from, to remember, to say, remember how it was unpleasant for you. Make sure it's better for others that come after you. For me, that's a spiritual issue. And this introspection is also a spiritual issue, Yeah, so that's that. And then last words you say to everyone?
Yeah, any advice you want to give the next generation of African legal professionals?
Yeah. Okay, yes. It's advised broadly to Africans and then to African legal professionals.
Yeah.
So one thing that's really been bothering me is the exodus of Africans from Africa.
Yeah.
We're running away from our problems. I don't know, and I'm not saying this in a judgmental way. I'm really, really grieved and concerned, and I'm grappling with this thing. If we're all immigrating, who's going to fix this continent? For me, I'm struggling with that. And I say that as one of the people that have had opportunities potentially to go work overseas, which I actually ended up not taking, right? So it's not like I've never looked. My own daughter is looking and has looked. But it's a question that I have rather than words of wisdom. It's a question that I think we should all grapple with as Africans. If we all leave, who's going to clean up? Who's going to fix our home?
Our home.
Yeah, because we may not have a home to come back to, right? If you're going to entrust your life in somebody else's hands, you may as well give it up because they don't have that personal, that close interest that you would have.
Very true.
Right?
Very true.
Especially in the current geopolitical environment as well. There's especially coming in the direction of South Africa, right? Talks of sanctions, talks of sanctioning leadership. Really, I think the average South African out there, particularly a professional or somebody with some level of education, you should be grappling with these issues. It's our job to fix the country, nobody else's.
Yeah.
We get the government we deserve. We get the country we deserve.
Yeah.
If we're not going to do something to save our country, to save our continent, then we shouldn't complain when others find something else to do with it. It's as simple as that. And when it comes to legal professionals in Africa, I would say you are good. You are excellent at what you do. Don't ever let international legal professionals make you feel less than.
Yeah.
And again, I speak from experience.
Yes.
We do multinational transactions, cross-border transactions. We work with lawyers from Europe, from the United States. And sometimes the one thing that's most obvious in these interactions is that you are not being given your flowers and your space and your seat at the table because you are the African lawyer from a small, obscure jurisdiction, which means very little to the greater part of this international transaction. So I want to say to you, you're good. You're good. You know what you're doing. Keep doing it. If part of what you're doing involves ensuring that, and as it often does with competition law, right? Ensuring that clients comply with South African law, for instance, right? Do it right. Do it right.
Yeah.
You are also responsible for where this country goes. Our country is not perfect. Our leadership is not perfect. But do what you do with a clear conscience, knowing that the deal that you're working on is going to ultimately benefit not only the client you're advising, but that it's going to be beneficial to your country.
Hey, you are good. You know what you are doing. Yes. The mentorship part coming in from Lebohang, and we are just so grateful for her time, for her wisdom, and for her journey, right? So Lebohang, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. And those of you at home, guys, there's so much to look forward to. There's so much to navigate. There's so much to introspect on, right? And as Lebohang has said, we need to be building back into our country. We need to be passionate about the people of our country, the issues in our country. How are we adding back to that? How are we fixing our own problems in this country, right? Lebo, thank you so much.
Thank you so
I
much.
really appreciated having this talk with you. I learned a lot, actually, through chatting to you. And for those of you at home, thank you so much for tuning in once again. We definitely will be back for another season of Suits and Stories. So thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next time.